Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome to episode 65 of Shrigleytube TV. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's clicked on this week to watch all the different types of videos we've put on. It's been massively appreciated, and massive thanks for all the comments as well. Really enjoy reading them all, especially some chap called Paul who's literally binge watched all of my videos and commented everyone. So thanks for that, Paul. That's great, that. Thank you. This week, I had a good week at the workshop. Bit of a disruptive week with sorting Jack's engine out ready for the Bangor Wheel final. We'll find out how I got on next week. I'll try and get an interview out of him. And yeah, we've got some work done on the big 1200 imp engine, so that's good. It's going to run next week. That was brilliant. So happy with all that. Just bit of special ending to this night's video. We've got some almighty Brisker F1 stock cars from Buxton and the heritage cars as well, which is like the how it all started back in the day when, you know, stock cars first came about and they were building them on a budget. So yeah, those cars came out and did a demonstration race, which was great. So I hope you enjoy watching that as well. And I look forward to seeing you all next Sunday at 7. Bye for now. Okay, YouTubers, we've got a visitor in the workshop today. He's brought his 1040cc Ginetta G15 engine, and we're going to have a look at a potential head gasket issue. We're going to start by pulling the head off, and then we may have a look at some of the bearings and decide what condition it's in. So thanks for bringing the engine on, Peter. I'm going to say, you've 35 years of owning this G15 for?
Well, longer really, but probably more like 40.
Wow.
And then I had a period of time where I thought I was going to drive it, but I never did because it didn't really work properly. So then it turned into a project, break it all down and so on. And then it sort of didn't, I was moving house, the Ginetta went to other places,
Right.
And it was in a garage where I wasn't living for ages. And then finally I moved to Newark, and my son by this time has got to be about sort of 13, 14 or whatever, and he sees a picture of the car. He's like, "Come on, let's get the car."
Oh,
It was actually stuck in a garage in Letchworth, and so we got it, and we've been rebuilding it since. Got it going recently, and then, as you say, we might have probably overheated it. But yeah, so this engine was rebuilt by a guy that did it for me about 35 years ago. It's done about 4 miles since before we blew it up, and so here it is, and yeah, we'll see what it looks like when you take
Right.
it.
Well, it's either, I don't know if it's got wheel strings or a head gasket at this stage. It looks quite close for a head gasket, but I could be wrong. Anyway, we'll take the head off and we'll see what we see, and it's more than likely it's only overheated because it's, you know, when it starts pushing air into the cooling jacket, it's just airlock, as you know, and it's
right.
So
let's see.
Your son's, he's 20 now, is he?
He's 20
Has
now.
he got his eyes on doing a bit with this car, do you reckon?
Oh yeah, we're really both into it. That was like almost the best thing about the Ginetta, because when he got to about 30, he got into it, and we've done all that together, and it's just
brilliant.
It's been a marvelous thing.
Excellent.
So yeah, really cool.
Right, brilliant. Well, we'll get it apart and we'll see what we see. If we find anything interesting, we'll report. Right, we've got Pete's head off his engine here, and it's on an old school 998 gasket, which we was quite surprised to see. Now, apart from the oodles of crud in the coolant jacket, which you have got a theory for that, haven't you, Pete? What do you reckon that's all about?
Yeah, I think they used to run metal sort of pipes along the cooling system.
Front to rear.
They went super sort of rusty at one point, and that's got into the whole system, I think.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'll steam this block out. We've just been discussing new engines and all sorts, but realistically, the engine isn't actually worn. Like he says, it's only about 5 miles since it was rebuilt. We've had a look at the crank, looks good, the bearings look okay, there's no water stains in the bores. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to weld the head between 2 and 3 where they always crack, so that doesn't become an issue. That's just there. So we'll put a bit of weld on there, we'll skim the head, take the valves out, make sure they're all lapped in okay and everything's good in that department. Give it a minimum skim. We'll buy one of the Imp Club's new modern type 1040 cylinder head gaskets, put it back together, and get a tune out of it for him on the dyno. Now it's got a manifold to show us here. Haven't you? Look at this lovely period racing manifold. Neil Davis. It's a lovely old thing, isn't it?
I wonder if he still exists, Neil.
I don't know. It's a weird way of spelling it, isn't it? These are big. This is different to the one I've got. One of these, but it's not nowhere near the same diameter. The plenum there.
Actually, we've knackered it there. It needs yeah.
Oh yeah, we can probably.
It's rethreading.
Yeah, no problem that. But yeah, these Will Parry does a lot with these. We did some back-to-back testing on God knows which episode it was,
Yeah.
but these actually work better than the banana type one.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, Will was telling me it's to do with the fact that the lengths are equal, even though it's got 90-degree corners. It just works more even cylinder distribution.
Well, that's good news.
So
Nice.
yeah. Well, yeah, we'll put that on. We'll use 2836. We'll run it up on the dyno, get a gasket on it, and we'll try and turn this around quite quickly so that it's not keeping you off the road. Because
you haven't got that. You haven't got the carb yet.
No, well,
you
can drop that off at any time.
Good,
and the exhaust.
Sounds like fun. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks for starring on Shrigleytube, Pete. And
it's been a pleasure.
We'll speak to you soon.
Cheers,
okay,
mate.
YouTubers, this is a very special man here, Frank, also known as Bass, but we call him Frank after Frank Gallagher out of Shameless. Frank has very kindly come in today to help me because he gets bored at home, don't you, Frank?
I certainly do.
And he's been chewing crankshafts out for the 930s. So we've got him in the 3-point steady here. There's nothing Frank can't do in the machine. Now, Frank, do you enjoy coming here to work?
I enjoy going home.
You don't mean that, Frank. Hey,
yes, I enjoy it. It's good. It's good, interesting work.
Oh, you're
a bit tricky at times, but
it keeps you on your toes, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Keep it moving.
There's nothing Frank can't do. He talks the job down, but once you get him stuck into it, he just cracks on. He doesn't even stop. In fact, I'm going to tell the story about when I first tried to get you to come out for dinner, and you said that you were happier stood by your machine because that's what you'd always done.
That's what I'm supposed to do. I've not come here for a free meal, but I'm quite happy to have one now.
Well, Frank, guess where we're going now? We're going to Chapati Corner. We're going to get him to do you a nice
Chapati Corner. See, that's what it's all about. That's why it's worth coming in. I'm sure I'll work twice as hard after it as well.
Mate, you'll be on bricks like me. We'll be sat down in there talking about the job. Right, no, we'll try not to eat too much, but yeah, let's go and get some chapatis and a nice vegetable curry for you.
Let's go for it.
Brill. Thanks for being on Shrigleytube, Frank.
Okay, all the best. Night. All the best for the future.
Frank, give me one word to describe our dinner. Look at that.
Extraordinary.
Look at that. Superb, mate. Get stuck in. Okay, YouTubers, at my favourite point, we're building up the 1200. So I've just been getting myself all over excited about my new conrods that have been made by Mr. Robson. So I been doing some weights, just weighing everything. This is my new extra long rod, which gives us the correct rod to stroke ratio for the 70mm stroke cranks. Obviously, it's 1200cc. This now I've had them done as a super skinny rod, so they're piston guided to try and get some weight out of them, etc. And it's worked really well because the combined weight of the long rod and piston, and it's not really a race piston, it is a Hepalite copy, and I use these in everything. These are the Maynard pistons. I love them. I think they're great. It's 750 grams. They're a very stable piston because there's quite a lot of them. They can lose the heat quite well, and I'm really hoping that my new aluminium bobbins in quite close tolerance will also take some heat from the pin into the rod, so the piston temperature will be nice and stable. Now, so we saw 750 kilograms for the new long steel rod, and I've had these done as well. I'm not into the roll pin job, the dowel that locates the cap. So I've had them done as a proper hollow dowel. So that hollow dowel locates in the rod, so we know that the cap isn't going to suffer with any shuffle whatsoever. It'll all be really good and strong when it's going around at extremely high speed. Now, this is a standard Ilman Imp, not been modified in any way, piston and rod. So that's 830 grams. So we're like 80 grams up on the long rod. And this is a back in the day, lightened and scalloped out with the top lightened as well. And that is still, a good 30 grams up on that. So they used to have these to like 9.5, 10 back in the day. We're going to limit him to 8.5, but realistically, that's probably quite conservative, quite a safe RPM limit, because obviously the engine has all sorts of different stresses, but I don't believe that power production is the biggest stress. The biggest stress is when that changes direction at the top of the stroke and has to come back down again. It's not too bad at the bottom because it's got the rod pushing, but when it's going that way, it's only the cap that's got to bring it back down again. So yeah, the less reciprocating weight we can get, the safer and the happier the engine is, and of course less friction, so we get more power. So that's probably why you can just see this is the offset bore engine, but it's got the motorbike piston and rod with the very, very small rods and pistons in it on the 35mm big end pin. That weighs 500 grams, so lighter again. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. We'll get this short motor built, and then we'll start on the head, and hopefully we're still planning to get a tune out of this week. Okay, we've got the bottom end now as a rotating assembly, so turn my attention to the cylinder head, and thought we'd just talk about the camshaft. I've had a different camshaft ground now from the normal one. This is Buxton. It's a bit of a twist. It's not quite the full race cam. This is going to be like my my high torque cam. It's going to work from 4,500 RPM on the bigger capacity engine, the 1200 engine. So got that, got the nice carrier. I've just been checking the guides, and the guides are actually mint, but what we're going to do is we're going to push them out and put it on a set of Colsibro guides. Now, Colsibro is a really good material for the guides. It's like self-lubricating, and it'll just mean that it'll be fit and forget forever. So this head, nice old head, it needs a bit of work, but it's on iron guides. So if you're not familiar with changing guides on an engine, there's lots of different ways of going about it, but because the cylinder head is aluminium, and obviously it's got a higher coefficient of expansion than the iron guide, what we have to do is we have to heat the head up to push the guide out. And also, if you ever do come to push guides out of an imp, you can't push them out dirty, because what happens is, as the guide goes through the hole, if there's any carbon or rust on the guide, as it goes through, it broaches the bore that the guide sits in. So if you can imagine, it's got like about a 3 thou pinch on it to hold it. So when it's cold, it's really got a hold of it, and when it's hot, it's still got a hold on it, because obviously these cylinder heads run hot. So one of the benefits of fitting the Colsibro is that has a closer expansion rate to the aluminium than the iron. So as the head grows, also the guide will grow as well. So what we're going to do is we've blasted this head to get all the carbon, because these are the old guides, and we're going to put some lubrication around the guide, so that when it, just WD-40, so when it goes out, it doesn't broach the bore in which the guide sits in, because we have had a situation where the guide has gone back in and it's been loose, and when you look at the old guide that you pushed out, you can see where it's picked up on its way out and took the aluminium with it, and we end up having to put oversized guides in and messing about and doing all sorts of things. So that's the plan for that, and then we'll cut the seats. We've got to set it up and drill for the supports, because it hasn't got the supports underneath the chamber there, so we'll do that as well while we're at it. And then the head should be pretty much ready to go on. We'll do some CCing, and yeah, I'm still hopeful that we're going to get this looking pretty good by Friday. It's Frank's own time, and thought we'd get a little video of him again, try and catch him in his natural habitat. Look at him here, grafting. He has not stopped for 2 days. He just absolutely loves it. Frank, we're coming to look at your progress. How's the crankshaft department? Look at these all laid out here, all machined beautifully. How do you feel, Frank?
Exhilarated.
Exhausted.
Learning new things every day.
I'm sorry we've not had any dinner today, mate, but your missus rang me and said you didn't eat your tea last night, so I wasn't to feed you again.
It's all right. We've already lost the winter fuel allowance, so losing my dinner doesn't matter.
Mate, why you're not past? Are you retired age?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow, I didn't realise. I thought you were like 60 or something.
Oh, thank you.
Mate, you've been an absolute gentleman.
Thank you.
Just look at the job that Frank's been doing here. Got loads of cranks ready now, so you don't realise how much you've helped me there, Frank, because for me to stop and do what you do and do a good job of what you do, you know, it means I've got to stop everything else. So much appreciated, Frank. We'll see you next week, and we'll get you to Chapati Corner again.
The only way is the Shrigley way.
I haven't programmed you for that, honestly. Okay, we've got the big 1200cc cylinder head on the Miller here. I've just fitted new guides. They're all in the Colsibro guides. I've also machined here for the support screws to support the chamber. It'd already been skimmed and wheels ringed. I've cut the valve seats, recut the seats, so we've got them all the uniform height now, so that's all nice. And then I come across a problem which I totally overlooked. Now, this is something that I was aware of. It has happened in the past. I've not seen one like this for a while. If I push down here, can you see the head rocking? What's basically happened is, in the past, this head's been overheated. And of course, they always warp like this. So it's had the face re-skimmed on this side, but they haven't skimmed the other side. So I was just giving it a quick faceplate to make sure there's no high spots. Normally you've got some location dials for the cam carrier here and here, and it makes it very hard to measure. But when you put it on a machine surface like that, and yeah, you can see straight away. It's got a right old rock on it. So what we'll have to do is set it up on the miller and skim the camshaft carrier face, because otherwise what happens is it breaks the camshaft in the middle. Not straight away, it takes a few thousand miles to do it, but if you can imagine, it's turning round. Every time it turns, it's trying to bend the cam, and the cam's cast. So it normally breaks the camshaft in the middle. So we'll have to address that before we carry on any further. Right, okay, we've got the imp head with the bow in it on the miller. I've just turned it around, so I've clamped it on the opposite way around. I have done this before because I've seen it before. If you look, you can see it hasn't touched here or here, but it's got it in the middle there, because obviously it's warped that way. I'm actually about 15, maybe 18th thou in here, and we've still not cleaned up each end, so it could be like 25 thou before we see this flat. Anyway, it's a job worth doing because it'll ensure that the cam doesn't snap in the future. Right, that's turned out quite good in the end. It's cleaned up all over, just not quite got it there, but I'm not concerned about that. It's a cork cam cover gasket that goes on there. It's probably only a couple of thou by that point. The important bit is it's flat across here, so I'll get this face plated. We're a bit behind schedule now, so I'm not sure whether we'll get this running in time for weekend, but we will continue. Okay, quick update on the 1200cc cylinder head. This is actually a Chessman cylinder head. Got the ACC numbers there. We've welded it, spot faced all of the bolt holes and the spark plug holes. Just trying to give it a full reconditioning. I've just been lapping the valves in. Obviously, I did recut the seats. These are lovely. These guides. These are the Colsey-Bro ones. No play at all. So beautiful. That. Dead happy with it. I think it's going to do good power. Obviously, I've matched the manifolds to. Or one of the manifolds I had here to speak to Will, because I haven't actually got the manifold that's going to run on this engine. But my mate Will said they're all the same, so hopefully all that's going to line up good. Put the support screws in that go under the chamber that we always talk about to just stop it from collapsing in that area. Just bridges the load between the floor of the exhaust port and the chamber there with a little 1/4 UNF grub screw. Got some new parts. These are straight out of a brand new 930 engine that I'd stripped for parts. So we've got new collets and obviously on new titanium caps and the competition springs. A Castledini cam carrier, so it's got a nice cam carrier to run our new B&J grind. It's actually a Kent cam. Kent do them, but it's a Bob Jones grind cam that we're putting in it. 410 thou of lift. So yeah, I'm still hopeful that we'll get it bolted on tomorrow, etc. But we are behind schedule, unfortunately. It probably isn't going to run for weekend. In fact, it's not going to run for weekend. There's no point kidding myself. But there's no point rushing it. We'll just take our time, keep thinking about it, and hopefully get it right first time. Right, just on with the big, long, tall 1200cc engine. I've got the head on. I've done the shims and or just rough set them. I've gone for the Vauxhall type shims on this engine, so we're using a little top hat shim, bit lighter, a bit less reciprocating weight in the valve train. So to go with the titanium caps, etc. Now I've got to admit a defeat. I'm afraid it's not going to run today. This, but early part of next week it'll be on and running. So it'll give it a chance to settle over the weekend after I pulled the head down. My adapters have arrived. Thank you to the young lad who sent me the link to buy them. That's the 3/4 UNF adapter for the oil coolers that I've been using that I mentioned. I didn't know what it was from or where to get it from, so he sent me a link, which was great. Now, what you might be thinking, he's losing the plot, this lad. He's not put the head bolt washers on, but I thought it was something worth talking about. whenever you're doing something that's a bit fancy as a dry build like this, it's then important that the head bolts don't bottom out. So obviously we've got a massively longer head bolt than standard, so I've had to order these bolts in. So I've just put them in just gently by hand, without the washers and without the wheel strings or the paper gasket, to make sure that they clamp the head and they don't bottom out in the bottom of the hole beforehand. And I've got to say, I've not tried it. I don't doubt I could force it to go all the way down, but can you see that one? There's a gap underneath it. So on the this side, the bolts are actually longer. I'll take one thread off the end of each bolt, so that we know that when we get when we torque the head down, we know that it's definitely pulling the head down. It's just when you're messing about with bespoke stuff, these are all the problems that can catch up with you at the wrong point. Also, you notice I've not put the dowels in yet. I have a little roll pin that goes in there that goes through, that aligns the head to the block perfectly, so that the wheel strings are concentric with the line atop. So yeah, getting there. We'll get the head on and maybe get it shimmed this afternoon, and then got the sump ready to go there. Sump's all painted, so that can be going hard and dry over the weekend, and then next week we'll get a tune out of this. Okay, YouTubers, the keen subscribers amongst you may remember I bought a Honda 90 a few episodes ago, and I've been doing a little bit. I try and sort of finish half an hour every day before I've got to go home, wrap up the customer jobs, and just do a bit of something towards my little projects that I've got on the background. So this Honda 90, I was only meant to unseize the rings because it was seized in the piston, but we got a bit carried away, ended up buying a bigger piston, boring it, doing all sorts of daft things. This is a Honda CM90 for those that aren't aware. It's very early Honda 90. Most of them were overhead cam. This one's an overhead valve with push rods. So I've just literally cleaned it all up, and my theme for the bike is going to be a John Player special, black and gold, hence why I've got a black head, gold barrel and gold cam cover. Very sad, isn't it? I was going to blast all this in the Aqua Blaster because I've been doing some blasting this week, but I thought, no, we're not putting too much into it. It's just a bit of fun. Be a pit bike for next year for racing. So yeah, all I've done here is I've opened up the little end 1mm with an adjustable reamer, which was a bit on the iffy side to say the least, but it seems to have done the job. So we can fit the bigger piston now, and all this was because I read in the Wikipedia site that the engine had 8-to-1 compression. I was like, ugh, 8-to-1, that's not going to go bang very well, is it? So I just lapped the valves in. I've not done anything else to the head, but hopefully with the increasing capacity from 90cc to 119cc, we will see a decent compression ratio increase. So yeah, I was just something I was going to share with you as well. And then I'll shut up about it, but see this down here, that is an oil pump. It has a little sump in the bottom there. It picks oil up, it squirts it out this hole into the engine. It goes along one of these tubes into the top of the rocker assembly here. And can you see that little jet there, that little brass jet? Just trying to zoom in on it. That fires oil at the top of the, because obviously one valve's at the top, one's at the bottom. Fires valve at the top of the guide or top of the valve to lubricate the guide. Fantastic. Love it. Proper clever people that built this back in the day, 1966. Anyway, not to get too excited, we'll wrap that up and we'll get it snotted together, YouTubers. I was in the workshop there grafting away, and the sun came out, and I thought, go outside and have 5 minutes, do something of my own, make myself happy. So I've come outside. This is my own personal Audi 100. Now, it might look like just an old banger, but it's actually a sheep in wool's clothing. This it's an Audi 100 S4, so it's got the 4 valve per cylinder, 5-cylinder engine, so it's 20 valves, 5 cylinders, makes a lovely noise, and it's a 6-speed manual as well with a 4-wheel drive. So these are when Audi made cars proper. No clever bits on it. It's on Bosch Motronic, but I still can't fix it because it's got a misfire. When you put your foot down, it should go like a projected missile, but it just pops, bangs, and doesn't go anywhere. So my mate said to me, you need to test the coils on it. That's the first thing on these modernish engines. So I said, right, okay. So I bought this little tool off the internet, and what it does is you put it in the coil and you earth the other end to the body of the car, and you crank the engine over, and the spark is designed to jump. Now, depending on how far, you know, if the spark can jump that gap, then it's trying to replicate. Obviously, that's a lot further than a plug gap, because a plug gap's only very, very small. But it's replicating firing the spark under compression, which is when it becomes hard to make the spark jump. Obviously, the more pressure the cylinder's under. That's why electrical misfires always get worse when you get around peak torque and you get your best cylinder fill. So what we'll say is this, I think it's got a coil issue, because also it starts off okay, and the hotter it gets, the more the misfire comes in. So I'll just step over I've bought an airbox for it. I've even bought a cam belt for it. So I'm going to put the cam belt and the airbox on it and make it all standard, and try and fix these coils. And I've got an hour to do it. But I'll just thought I'd crank it over and show you. I'll zoom in on this little device. So the plugs are out, so it's got no compression. I don't know if you can see or hear the spark. Now that one is very red compared to this one. Now I recognise this has been a newer coil. This one, very hard to see in this light, but yeah, we're just about there. We think we're going to fix it. Cheers, okay, pal. Bit of an update on the old Audi. I tested all the coils and they're all jumping the same amount, so I don't think the issue's there. Obviously, I've got new spark plugs. It just has no power and goes flat when you floor it. So I thought, wonder if it's going lean. Now it's on the old Bosch Mo, and this is called hot wire air mass. So this measures the amount of air going past the air inlet trunk. So whatever air the engine sees, it has a measurement from this little device. I'm not quite sure how it works, but if I zoom in, can you see like a very, very thin wire in there? That actually measures the amount of air going past. I think electricity is passed through it and it glows red, and then depending on how much air goes past it, changes the resistance, and that tells the ECU roughly where the engine's at fuel wise, so or how many RPM or load it's got, so what fuel to give it. So an old school test is always to unplug them. It makes them run rough at idle, but I unplugged it and went out and it was like a projectile rocket. So all I've done is I've just removed like a little grill. I've removed the grill and it was quite oily, so I've just brake cleaned it all in the hope that when I put it back on now, it'll be fixed. Surprise, the brake cleaner didn't work. It was still going lean and had no power. So luckily I found one on eBay at a very reasonable price. So I've ordered that and I'll keep you posted on how we get on with fixing it.
But they're not.
Really? This one's got a Jaguar engine in it. 4.2. Look at this one here.
Oh, look at that. Look at that girl down there, Dad. Yeah, 69, 260.
This one here. Aubrey Layton. Look at the way the engine's holding. That was brilliant.
He went back to Bellevue, didn't he?
He what, sorry?
He used to own Bellevue.
Own it?
Yeah, he had the
Dad.
Yes. 1 second.
I want to go down there.
Okay.
I want to go down there.
Let's look at this one for a minute. Look at that. Frank Wayman one.
These two are accurate.
There's one side now.
Look at the chain on this. Yes, look at it. It's all.
That one right there.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's really short.
And then next to the other one.
Why is the tyre so
So just look inside.
Dad, can we go down there?
Yes, okay, we can go down there. Look at this though.
Why do I have two wheels?
4 wheels to turn, hasn't it? Okay, for YouTubers, congratulations, you've made it to the end of episode 65, and you've even watched the stock cars, so that's great, well done. Thanks again, and a big thank you for everyone who does tune in to watch it. It really helps help with the channel, getting the views up, etc., and developing it, and eventually we'll get a proper camera and proper audio, and hopefully we'll make some really good videos. Okay, look forward to seeing you all next week at 7. Have a great week. Bye for now.